I mean, I got impeached. I think, I certainly devoted a little time to thinking about it, right? They probably illegally impeached me in a phony impeachment, okay? It was a hoax. Even if it was a phony deal, and it was a phony deal, I don't think I would have done any better had I not been impeached, okay? And I think that's a great tribute to something. Maybe it's a tribute to me. I had a decision to make. Maybe it was my biggest decision. That was a big decision. So that was a big decision. That was probably, and by the way, not because I did it, that was probably the biggest decision we made so far. But if you look at the one graph, and if you take a look at the chart,
You look at this chart. Look at this chart.
Look at these numbers.
you see what happens when you get off to a late start. Shaking hands or not shaking hands, washing hands all the time, staying a little apart.
The American people have now seen what the president saw. Check your temperature.
And the word is exponential. We are getting more and more and more. You would have had people dying all over the place. This would not have been a normal life. How many people have even seen anybody die? You would have seen people dying on airplanes. You would have been seeing people dying in hotel lobbies. You would have seen death all over. And you had 20 some odd people, I believe, dying in one home. And it escaped that home. Many people dying. Every day people were dying. If you don't mind death, a lot of death. Hey, look, it's still tremendous death. And we have bad news. We're going to lose 220,000 people, and it's going to happen over the next few weeks. Violence like we've never seen in this country before. I showed it to you yesterday in a box. It's truly invisible and so contagious. Don't say I'm optimistic, because I don't want to, I wouldn't want to do that. But I am optimistic.
But to each and every one of us, be discouraged.
Why don't we write it out? A lot of people have said, a lot of people have thought about it. Write it out. Don't do anything. Just write it out and think of it as the flu. Let's just write it out. This is not to be written out. Just write it out. They use the expression, write it out. That's what I said. Let it rip. Let it ride. Do nothing. Let's just write it out. Let's write it out. We were very smart. Use a scarf. A scarf is... Everybody, a lot of people have scarves, and you can use a scarf. Scarf would be very good. But use a scarf if you want. So you can use scarves. You can use something else over your face. I mean, most people have scarves, and scarves are very good, and they can use a scarf. And it says in the recommendations you can substitute a scarf. But you can wear a scarf, you can do the masks. When you send a friend to the hospital and you call up to find out how is he doing, it happened to me. Where he goes to the hospital, he says goodbye, he's sort of a tough guy, a little older, a little heavier than he'd like to be, frankly. And you call up the next day, how's he doing? And he's in a coma? This is not the flu. We're going to see what happens with the hydroxychloroquine. And I have to say this, hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin, which is, you take it with it, maybe, if you want. You're talking about the chloroquine? Is that what you're talking about? And we have a stockpile, and that's why it's called a stockpile. You could talk rabbis, very special. I have many very special people, and very many special